the first time the truth surfaced, it wasn't through words or confessions. It arrived in broad daylight, under a cloudless sky, with the sound of sirens cutting through a peaceful city morning, and a single man stepping forward in a way that made trained professionals freeze. In that moment, everything Isla Mercer thought she knew about her husband cracked open, revealing a past so powerful it would change the meaning of strength, love, and sacrifice forever. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet heroes who walk among us unseen, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Touch of Kindness. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Isla Mercer had built her life on clarity, control, and careful decisions. As the CEO of a fast-growing urban infrastructure firm, she was known for her sharp mind, steady leadership, and refusal to be impressed by appearances. She trusted data more than charm, logic more than promises. So when she met Rowan Hale, a widowed single father with gentle eyes and worn hands, she assumed she understood him completely. He worked part-time at a community center, volunteered at a school garden, and spent every spare hour with his 8-year-old daughter, Maeve. He didn't chase ambition, he didn't talk about the past, he simply showed up, every day, quietly dependable. Their relationship grew slowly, mostly in daylight moments that felt real and unpolished. Coffee after school drop-offs, long walks through the city park, afternoons watching Maeve ride her bike while Rowan clapped softly from the sidelines. Isla admired his calm. After years of boardrooms and battles, his simplicity felt like rest. When they married, there was no grand spectacle, just a sunny afternoon ceremony in a public garden, birds singing overhead and laughter echoing between the trees. Isla believed she had married an ordinary dad, and she was content with that belief. Life settled into a rhythm. Isla managed million-dollar contracts while Rowan packed lunches, attended parent-teacher meetings, and fixed things around their modest home. He never complained about her long hours or the weight she carried. He listened more than he spoke, offering steady presence instead of advice. Sometimes Isla wondered why a man so capable seemed to carry himself as if he were always careful not to take up too much space. She assumed it was grief, or humility, or simply who he was. What she did not know was that Rowan's calm was forged, not natural. It had been trained into him under scorching suns and sleepless nights, in places where hesitation cost lives. He had learned to stay invisible because visibility once meant danger. He had learned to soften his edges because he had once been sharpened for war. The day everything changed began like any other. Isla had taken a rare morning off, and the three of them walked through a busy downtown plaza, sunlight reflecting off glass buildings, the sound of street musicians floating in the air. Maeve skipped ahead, laughing, while Rowan held Isla's hand loosely, scanning the crowd with a habit so subtle it went unnoticed. Then chaos erupted. A delivery truck skidded sideways, crashing into a barrier near a crowded cafe. Smoke poured from the engine. People screamed and scattered. In the confusion, a man stumbled from the passenger side, clutching something metallic, his movements frantic and erratic. Panic spread faster than understanding. Phones dropped. Children cried. The air filled with fear. Before Isla could process what was happening, Rowan released her hand. He moved with a speed and certainty that didn't belong to an ordinary dad. His posture changed, his body aligning with a precision that felt sudden and shocking. He guided Maeve behind a concrete planter, shielding her with his own frame, then stepped forward into the open, his voice cutting through the noise in a calm, commanding rhythm that made strangers instinctively listen. Isla stood frozen, watching the man she loved transform into someone else entirely. Rowan assessed distances, angles, exits, all in seconds. He coordinated bystanders, directed them away from danger, and approached the disoriented man not with aggression, but with control honed by experience. When authorities arrived moments later, they didn't bark orders at Rowan. They deferred to him. They followed his lead. The situation ended without bloodshed. The threat was contained. Lives were saved, and Isla's world tilted. In the aftermath, as sirens faded and sunlight returned to its ordinary brightness, Isla searched Rowan's face. There was no pride there, no excitement. Only a quiet sadness, as if something carefully buried had been forced into the open. That evening, in the calm of their home, surrounded by the normalcy of daylight streaming through windows and the smell of dinner cooling on the stove, the truth finally emerged. Rowan did not dramatize it. He didn't tell stories of heroism. He spoke of service, of years spent in special operations, of missions that could never be explained fully, of losses that stayed with him long after the uniform was gone. He spoke of leaving not because he was broken, but because he wanted his daughter to grow up with a father who came home every night. Isla listened, heart heavy, shame creeping in where certainty once lived. She realized how easily she had labeled him ordinary because he chose gentleness over recognition, how she had mistaken silence for emptiness. In the days that followed, the world caught up to what Isla had just learned. News footage circulated. Online speculation exploded. Former comrades reached out. Invitations, interviews, and opportunities appeared, offering recognition Rowan had never sought. At the same time, Isla faced her own reckoning. At work, she had always been the powerful one, the protector, the provider. Now she saw that strength had been quietly balancing her from the other side all along. Rowan never tried to compete with her success. He simply carried his own weight, unseen. Maeve sensed the shift too. She looked at her father with new awe, but Rowan was careful to keep her world grounded. He returned to school drop-offs, garden volunteering, and simple routines. He wanted his daughter to remember him not as a soldier, but as a father who packed lunches and walked her home in the sunshine. Isla struggled internally. Part of her felt humbled, another part frightened. Loving someone capable of such controlled force was different from loving someone predictable. She had to confront her own assumptions about power, vulnerability, and what it meant to feel safe. The true test came weeks later when Isla's company faced a public crisis. A construction site error caused injuries, and public anger flared. Protests formed outside the office building, loud and emotional but still firmly rooted in daylight visibility. Isla prepared to face the crowd with prepared statements and legal counsel, but Rowan insisted on accompanying her, not as a bodyguard, but as support. Standing beside him as the sun hung high above the city, Isla watched him read the crowd, sense the emotions, anticipate movement. He didn't dominate the space. He steadied it. His presence anchored her, reminding her that leadership wasn't about overpowering opposition, but about standing firm without fear. The protest passed without violence. The company took responsibility, made changes, and began repairs. Isla addressed the public honestly, her voice steady, her heart clearer than it had ever been. That night, as daylight faded slowly into evening, Isla finally understood the gift she had been given. Rowan's past was not a shadow threatening their future. It was the foundation that allowed him to choose kindness every day. His restraint was not weakness. It was strength refined by conscience. Their marriage deepened, no longer built on assumptions but on truth. Isla learned to rest without feeling diminished. Rowan learned to be seen without feeling exposed. Together, they redefined partnership, showing Maeve that real power lies in protecting life, not dominating it. Just before this story ends, take a moment to comment below. Tell us what strength means to you, or who the quiet hero in your life has been. Your words matter here.